Welcome back to U.S. Military News Channel. At the 0 point, the most experienced units of the Ukrainian armed forces manage to destroy a new Russian target every day. Trained commandos of Ukraine do not let the Russian troops to take control in the air and on the ground. The losses of the Russian army are not to be taken lightly, and the losses continue to increase day by day. This week, the Ukrainian army destroyed a record number of Russian ammunition depots and headquarters in both sides, the south and the east. As a result of combined work of the Ukrainian Air Force, Special Operations and Ukrainian artillery units, dozens of Russian positions were destroyed. In addition, the Ukrainian armed forces now produce its own weapons. The avalanche growing support for Ukraine's Army of Drones initiative brings the Army's reconnaissance, target identification and attack capabilities of higher levels. The drone army of the Ukrainian armed forces has a much more advanced structure than the Russian army at the current level. At the same time, Ukraine's skilled operators doubled the impact of the drone army. Ukraine has doubled the number of drones on the battlefield, raising more than $20 million from overseas donation. Ukrainian's Army of Drones initiative has received most of its donations from the United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, France, Germany, Switzerland, Israel and Australia, and will use the funds to purchase drones that can be used for surveillance and attack. Currently, it is known that the Ukrainian armed forces have a very strong drone army and strengthen its weight guerrilla tactics. All kinds of drones are vital for Ukrainians can turn any type of the aircraft into weapons. Our biggest task here will be to continue providing ammunition and financial aid to the Ukrainians. Video footage shared online this week showed how Ukrainian troops are taking advanced munitions to a new level. A video clip shows how troops use the drone to drop at least 10 grenades at the Russian position. From videos like this have appeared before, showing Ukrainian troops dropping single grenades and other ammunitions consumer-grade drones, including those manufactured by DJI. At Russian positions, the success rate is very slow. With such non-intelligent and unguided ammunition, either the bombs miss the intended target or the explosion does little damage to Russian vehicles or weapons. But Ukraine's modified armed drones have done it before, and much bigger explosion can be seen in this latest video. A fleet of virtually modified bone shell drones is smashing Russian positions. Footage recorded from the drone showing grenades landing at the Russian position below was shared on Friday. In one post, the popular English War Watch account described the attack as a drunk carpet bombing. The campaign also called for direct donations of consumer and grade donors that can be turned into improvised weapons. We can count Bayraktar TB2 as the most popular of these unmanned aerial vehicles. However, unmanned aerial vehicles from many different countries enabled the Ukrainian armed forces to make a difference in the region. In addition, the gift of the Ukrainian symbol Bayraktar TB2 to the Ukrainian army was also remembered as a great gesture. The people of Lithuania and Poland have previously separately collected more than $5 million in donations and purchased Bayraktar TB2. Due to this gesture of this publishing Lithuanians, the Turkish Baykar company gifted Bayraktar TB2 to the Ukrainian army and ensured that the collected donations were used for humanitarian aid. However, Ukrainian troops rely not only on UAVs to throw grenades at Russian positions. The device play an important role in helping Ukrainian troops analyze the battlefield and monitor Russian movements. Russian advances in the region have almost completely stalled. Even as Russian President Vladimir Putin still claims she has won over the Russian people. Russia is carrying out shipments to the south of Ukraine, distorting the balance of power of its army. This hinders progress in the Donbass region. Nevertheless, the supply of weapons to the Russian army and the Ukrainian armed forces somehow continues. However, there is another weird, dangerous and critical issue in the region. Thus, the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine on Sunday accused Russian forces of launching rockets into the territory and nuclear power plant that Russia sees in the south of the country. It is reported that Russian troops made about 60 attacks in the region, according to the United Nations Nuclear Agency. This increased the risk of accidents at the complex even more. A pro-Russian regional officially blamed Ukrainian forces for the attack. According to Ukraine's nuclear power company, the records fired on Saturday evening landed near a dry spent fuel storage facility where 174 barrels of spent nuclear fuel are stored, each containing 24 sets of spent nuclear fuel. One person was injured and several buildings were damaged. The company reported that the spam fuel barrels stored in the open near the bombardment area were specially targeted. 3 radiation detection monitors were also reported to be damaged. For this reason, it was stated by the company that time of detection and intervention is currently impossible in case of a deterioration in the radiation situation or radiation wreckage from nuclear fuel barrels. Thank God a massive disaster at Europe's largest nuclear power plant was miraculously averted, the company added in its statement. Russian forces have been controlling the Zaporizhzhia plant since March. Andrei Yusuf, representative of Ukraine's Military Intelligence Directorate, said Russia bombed the area to destroy infrastructure and damage power lines that supply electricity to Ukraine's national grid, eventually causing power outages in the south of the country. There was no independent confirmation of the claim. The head of the pro-Russian administration in Zaporizhzhia, Yevgeny Babinsky, said on Sunday that Ukrainian forces used the raging class to racket to target the fuel storage area and damage administrative buildings. On Thursday, Russia's defense ministry said Ukraine had launched an artillery strike against a facility. Alexander Sturek, head of Ukraine's Purysha Regional Military Administration, said on national television on Sunday that there was only a 3-second delay between firing and landing of each rocket. Using this as evidence of Russian attacks, Ukrainian officials say Russian forces have been storing weapons, including artillery, at the facility since March, and have begun shelling Nikopol and nearby Ukrainian Halsy from positions on its territory. In recent weeks, Ukraine was the site of the world's worst nuclear accident. A reactor fire broke out at the Charnel complex in the north of the country. Fortunately, there are no reports of radiation leaks in Zaporizhzhia. None of this should happen. A nuclear explosion in Eastern Europe could change many things and completely paralyze civilian life. For this reason, great attention should be paid to this issue, and the destruction of the war should not be reflected in the power plant. Meanwhile, the Kremlin's referendum work continues in the Ukrainian cities of Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, and this initiative is driving the whole world crazy. In the last few months, local governments consisting of pro-Russian Ukrainian traitors have been established in these 2 regions. Later, the civilian population in the region was restrained by various pressures. However, in May, partisan groups gradually began to take shape and spread the truth in the Kherson and Zaporizhzhia region. The first task of the Parkinson groups was correct propaganda, and they did it successfully. Later, partisan groups began their work to lead guerrillas. In June, Ukrainian patriotic partisans conducted fear for serious operation and assassinated pro-Russian traitors.